Okay, everybody, hello, welcome to the video. In this series of videos, I hope to teach you how to run in a way that minimizes stress on your joints and will improve your longevity for running throughout your life, or as long as you want to run for whatever kind of races you want to do. My name is Dr. Michael. I'm a physical therapist in Evanston, Illinois. I specialize in working with runners. A big part of my practice is helping runners run pain-free, and a big part of that is teaching them how to run. Running is one of those sports where nobody really teaches you how to do it. Everyone just kind of starts doing it, and oftentimes the way people run doesn't get addressed until there are already problems. So if you're thinking about starting to run, if you want to get into running, it is important to know some of the basic facts about how to do it intelligently in a way that will keep you running for as long as you want to. I'm going to break this instructional series into a series of videos, and the first topic and the most important thing to know about how to run pain-free is to shorten your stride. A lot of times people try when they're running to make it a big effort and they bring their leg super far out in front of them, and then when their foot hits the ground, their foot is relatively far away from them. What is really important to think about is trying to land with your foot as close to underneath you as you can. It should be a little bit in front of you, obviously, because you're trying to go forward, but we don't want you to reach super far, okay? I have a couple cameras set up that's gonna allow me to show what's going on with the lower half of my body and my feet as I'm running. But what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to run on this treadmill at 6.0 miles per hour, or a 10-minute mile. For what we're gonna do today, we want to land with a short stride, land with the foot close to us, not far away, okay? I'm gonna fire up this treadmill and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So from here you can see my running form and posture. I have a quick cadence, a quick turnaround of my feet. My feet are landing pretty close in front of me. I have a nice upright posture, and this is essentially the wide view of what my body looks like. In this next section, I am going to analyze slow motion video of the lower body and the legs. I've uploaded the video of me running into the slow motion software, and I'm just letting it play right now. And you can kind of see what my legs are doing generally as I go about each stride. Okay, so I'm gonna pick on this right leg here, and we're gonna analyze the leg at initial contact. Initial contact is the point at which the foot hits the ground first, and that's going to be very important for us knowing what's actually going on with the leg when we're asking it to now absorb the shock of impact. So here we are. The first thing I'm going to want to do is analyze just how far away my foot is from the front of my hip. So I'm taking a vertical line and I'm bringing it straight down from the front of the hip to the ground, and this is going to give me a sense for how far away my leg lands from my body, and this gives us that sense of how much overstriding is happening, if any at all. So you can see my foot is pretty close to that line. It's pretty good stride length, not too far out in front of us. And then we are also going to look at the angle of the knee. Now, this is actually arguably the most important detail of why we're talking about anything, is we want to see what is the knee doing at initial contact. We want it to be relatively bent, and here we want the angle of the knee to be less than 160 degrees so that we get at least 20 degrees of knee bend, relative to a straight line, okay? So we have a good knee bend here at 156. We're not overstriding too far. And then we are going to look at what's going on with the foot here as well. So you can see here that I have a relatively flat foot. We would call this a midfoot strike, okay? Straight, flat as my foot hits the ground, okay? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and look at improper running form. I did my best to demonstrate improper running form, and we'll be able to see that here. So from the side, looks a little bit different. We have a wider stride, longer stride, and toes are pointed up. So now if we come back to the iPad and look at this running form, okay, so now I'm looking at this right leg, and I'm going to do the same things here. I'm going to take that vertical line, put it straight down, and you can see just how much farther the foot is from the hips when I have this reaching out leg, okay? I didn't do a great job of demonstrating poor knee flexion. I'm in the habit of making sure my knees are bent, so it doesn't look like my knees are that straight here. But I've seen a lot of people with extremely straight knees when their legs are contacting the ground. And essentially what that does is it just sends a shock wave up the leg and in through the knee and to the hip. So we want to make sure that knee is bent. Again, I didn't do a great job of demonstrating poor knee flexion here. I actually passed on less than 160, so it is what it is. From here, you can see also what's going on with the foot, okay, and how it's super pitched up, and I am absolutely going at it with my heel, okay? So if I take this image and the other one and compare them side by side, so this is improper with the foot super far away from that vertical line from the front of the hip. Knee is on the straighter side and the foot is pitched up. And then here's a much better stride where the foot is a lot closer to that red line, the foot is flat, and the knee is sufficiently bent. This leg shape, when it contacts the ground, does a significantly better job of distributing the force of impact to the muscles and directs it away from the joints. This running shape when you hit the ground does a really good job of directing the force to the bones and joints all the way up the kinetic chain. Just to hammer home all the key points, we want the foot to be close to the body, more or less underneath you when you contact the ground. We want the knee to be sufficiently bent, and we want a flatter foot. We don't want the toes to be super pointed up. We don't want the knee to be straight, and we don't want the leg to be landing far away from you. In the next video, I'm going to be showing you how you can actually start to practice shortening your stride. Sometimes it's a little bit trickier than simply knowing it. So there are some techniques and drills that I'll be showing you in part 2 of the How to Run series on how to actually implement running with a shorter stride.